Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 15th day of October 2024, the day of the Lord. It's about 11 minutes past the top of the hour. It's the second day of the Mount Kenya University Research and Innovation Week. It is a day that this particular week started yesterday on the 14th, and it's something that we're going to be discussing this morning. We always have a lot of research from different higher learning institutions, not only in Kenya, but globally. But then does this research and innovation from the students, as well as the lecturers, come to fruition? Do we actually get to see this research and innovation being materialized? This Innovation Week has been themed Research and Innovation for Sustainable Production Livelihoods. So for today, being second day, going to be having, starting at around some few minutes from now, the symposium for the School of Pharmacy. And this week continues all the way to Friday. And as we continue, we'll be telling you why you should be heading all the way to Mount Kenya University in Thika. And this particular morning, we are joined by, first off, Ayodele Popola. He's the Chief of Operations Officer at Guarantee Trust Bank Kenya. He joined Guarantee Trust Bank way back in 2020 as a COO, and he's recently served as the Group Head of Credit Information Systems, CIS operations. He has over 23 plus years of experience. So that means that he is a man who comes with a wealth of knowledge. Thank you for making time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next to him is Dr. Francis Makoha. He is a Director of Research and Innovation at Mount Kenya University. He's a specialist in molecular medicine and works as the head of Human Health Research Program within the Directorate of Research and Innovation of Mount Kenya. His research so far focuses on a number of issues. First off, understanding the molecular determinants of disease, including non-communicable diseases. He's currently working on something interesting on breast cancer genomics in Kenya. He'll be telling us all about that. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'll start with you, Daktari. As someone from Mount Kenya University, it is the second day. Tell us about this week. Why should people head over to Mount Kenya for this Innovation Week?
Yeah, we are running a Research and Innovation Week, starting from yesterday. The purpose of this week is to allow people in different cadre of studies, different areas of study, to come together and have a conversation about the current issues in their area, in their fields, and what are the best practices, what should be their concern, what should be their research focus, and what innovations are needed to solve the challenges that are facing their fields. So yesterday we had two very important discussions that focused on the current issues. The first was migration health, and the second one was the pandemics. Yeah, so migration health and pandemics. Migration health simply refers to when you travel from one place to another and you have an infection, for example, you're likely to take that infection there. You may not even know that you are sick. Yeah, but
similarly to what we're saying on Mpox.
Yes, Mpox. So you see, someone traveled from Central Africa and they got diagnosed, they felt sick when they were nearly crossing the Kenya-Tanzania border in Taita Taveta County. And that's when they felt sick, and that's when they were diagnosed to have Mpox. The same thing to COVID-19, for example. So it is, or when Kenya as a country, we host a number of refugees, and some are coming from countries where the health system is not very, very strong. A few years ago, Kenya had been declared polio-free, measles-free, but we have seen a few cases of measles being reported, polio being reported in the country. So we are discussing to see as a people, as a country, and as young people in training, how do we prepare ourselves for such eventualities? And the same to pandemics. You see, when COVID-19 broke out, the whole world came to a standstill. For about 3 months, there were no planes, moving. Like everyone, wherever you were, you stayed there. For about 2 months, you could not move out of the Nairobi metropolis. Yeah. So how do we avoid that? And we saw the disruption. Some businesses are still not have not recovered. Several like 2-3 years down the line, some businesses have not recovered, and some did not come back. They closed completely. So how do we avoid that disruption? We must be prepared enough as a country, as a region. Sub-Saharan Africa in general should be prepared to face such eventualities.
So that is the meat of
to avoid this, yes, okay, disruption of lives in general.
Right.
So that's the conversation, and we're going on. Today we are talking about pharmacy and manufacturing, and then in the afternoon we'll have to talk about chemistry. How sustainable chemistry, how does that play a role in improving industry, right, and productivity in our nation and the region. And tomorrow we talk about things like AI and social change. We in academia we are thinking AI will soon become smarter in publishing and things like that.
Business.
But also AI is important in health. AI is important in we're talking of big data. So how is that going to do? We are talking of talk about SHA now, where how much data is being generated in terms of which diseases are being treated, the costs that are being incurred. So how will that play, and how ready are we? Then we also talk about CBC by the Faculty of Education,
right,
in higher education.
On Wednesday.
Tomorrow, yes. And then
on Thursday now, something that I'd love to bring in Ayodele on this one now. On Thursday, we're going to be having School of Business and Economics, a symposium on that as well, being over 23 years plus experience in the banking sector, continentally, really. What do you expect for Thursday? Because now we're going to be having other stakeholders as well, students looking up to you and coming to you and asking you some questions. What do you expect for Thursday?
Okay, at the Thursday event where the School of Business will be discussing, I want to believe that the focus of the discussions will be how businesses can help, with respect to, imbibing research outcomes into business outcomes also. So I want to believe that come Thursday, the focus in marrying research and innovation into business, you want to look at ways by which businesses can use outcomes of research into improving their profitability, into improving, their impact on the society, essentially.
And that's something that Duty Bank is really big on. When you take a look at your website, you talk about sustainability. As a bank, what does sustainability mean to you? And having worked even in Kenya and started in Nigeria, working in Kenya, how do you see this being played out in different countries in the continent?
Okay, so I think for a long time, many people, many businesses have been doing things in their own way. But based on, all that we've been seeing right now in the environment and things like that, it's quite important that everybody imbibes sustainability into their business practices. Yes, this is something that we all have to live in, and then live something that even the people coming after us can at least still survive in, over time. So essentially, with us as Guarantee Trust Bank, what we ensure is that the businesses that we partner with are those that know how to care for the environment into their business practices. And even when we look at transactions within our bank, we also look at the environmental and social impact of the businesses that we fund, as a bank.
Right. Let me ask you this, as someone, again, who started in Nigeria, but then working in Kenya. Kenya is termed as the Silicon Savannah. Do you think as a country, well, also Nigeria and Egypt and also South Africa are in that mix, but Kenya is really big on and being referred to as the Silicon Savannah. Do you think Kenya is living up to that name and title?
Yes, I do. I mean, if you look at Kenya, if you look at the quantum of startups in Kenya, if you look at the quantum of technology investments in Kenya compared to other African countries, yes, you'll see that definitely a lot is coming into Kenya, and also because Kenya is more like the international hub. There's a lot of investments, coming into Kenya, a lot of startups, a lot of new companies who are looking at, testing things. I mean, if you want to ensure that you're able to, propagate something all across Africa, you see Kenya starting as the, as a test case, in Africa. So yes, I think Kenya is big on the technology end of things. Thank you.
Right. Dr. How about you? Do you think we're living up to this name, this big name, Silicon Savannah?
I think we are trying to, because we are in the AI, we are in the ICT era, and Kenya has positioned herself as one of the hubs that has a lot of innovations around ICT. Even as a university, if I may talk about that, during this week, we are having 40 students who are being incubated and developing ideas on AI and health in parallel to the research symposia that are going on. So on Friday, they'll be showcasing, the top 10 will be showcasing their innovation. Thursday afternoon, actually, not Friday. They'll be showcasing their
the whole hackathon.
What they have been working on, and the idea is integrating AI in health. So, what solutions do they have that we can use AI for health?
Sorry to cut you short. One would wonder where, because yes, on Thursday we'll see this.
Yes.
Photos will be taken, all this, and we'll recognize them. But one would wonder, where do they go after that? Because last year, during last year's Innovation Week, we did see Brian Magogo, Wilson Mwinde, as well as Jim Paul, who had this beautiful innovation for the smart fingerprint ballot box, which really goes to solve issues of stray ballots. This is not an issue that is only in Kenya. Even in different other countries, this is an innovation that they really need. But at the moment, we're not still seeing the materialization of this, such of a project. What's the progress of this?
Yeah, I would say that's a good question. And it's the same question we get asked every now and then. This particular team have showcased their innovation, not just in Kenya, but globally. They are in Germany. They have been, I think they also went to Australia. And their innovation is receiving, let's say, very positive reviews. And we hope that someone will invest in them. Yeah, someone will invest in them to help them, scale up their innovation. So we have a lot of good ideas for the few years that I've been in the Research and Innovation Office at the university, we have had quite many good innovative ideas, but the challenge has been scaling that up. How do we invest in our innovators to scale up their innovations?
So that you can also allow Ayodele to speak, because you had looked at him, that one. Yes, the fact that he's looking at you, someone in the banking sector, he's, as someone on the research, is decrying, yes, we're having this amazing ideas. These three gentlemen had this smart fingerprint ballot box. They won 100,000 cash shillings. Someone who came next, Faith Kerubo, had a whole project on e-green recycle, something that Kenya is really big on. She got 50,000 after that. But then we don't see the fruition of this projects. So as someone who is in the banking sector, what's the bottleneck of this funding? Is it from you guys now? There's no goodwill. Even as I also invite on board Conrad Akunga from Innova Limited, someone also who is big on tech. Conrad, karibu sana on set. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Typically, for the banking business, what you do is you look at the business impact of transactions that are being funded. You also look at the social impact of transactions that are being funded also. But you see, sometimes, especially for innovation or new developments that are going to have, effects downstream. What you then expect is that sometimes, it's NGOs, it's governments that, will first of all fund these transactions, to ensure that they are able to meet the business needs of the economy. So, yes, as banks, we are ready to, partner with people who are in innovation, but then you also see that there's a need for a more in-depth review of the impact of this innovation into the business industry. So for one, what you talked about with respect to ballots, right? Of course, I will expect that usually it's something that maybe the government will first of all be interested in. People, businesses who are, organizations that are interested in, what do you call it now? Organizations that are interested in free elections will also be interested in to ensure that, elections are free, fair, so that is what I think.
Right. So there is a goodwill, but then for you, really need to see the whole investment on this. Yeah. Let me bring on board someone who is has worked on this bits of even AI. Conrad Akunga is the Director of Research and Production Development. He's also the co-founder of Innova Limited. He has at least 20 years experience in product and development and tech. Karibu sana, Akunga.
Thank you. So I'll actually be sitting for Conrad. My name is Vincent.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm actually also a co-director of Innova and founder. So I've worked with Conrad for many years. I've known him for close to 40 years.
So now that Innova Limited is also on this brink of even AI, and it's going to be a conversation that is going to be happening tomorrow. Right. AI and social change tomorrow morning. When you just walked in, we're discussing this whole bit of, we are having these amazing ideas from students. Last you had three gentlemen who had this amazing idea of smart fingerprint ballot box.
Yeah.
But then, even as he's talking about the investment on this, or what are your thoughts on the turnaround process of having an idea and then now having it, seeing it in the market?
I think, first of all, there are a lot of brilliant ideas from young people, those who are currently in university, and also those who are actually just cleared university. I think a lot of those ideas, if incubated and supported, have actually resulted in a lot of in actual products that have gone to market. So we've seen a lot of, as I was saying, innovation around the capital markets, the financial markets. And these have really been spurred by generational change and how things are working now. So the traditional way of doing things has changed. And we are now seeing a lot of innovation in terms of even how for example, the young population want to invest. So so a lot of the innovations they've actually come up with are actually practical solutions that we implement in the capital markets.
All right.
Yeah.
But and still on tomorrow morning, these students, these young people who would be there in the symposium would be wondering, I have this amazing idea still in mind. I'll be back to Dr. to help us understand the patenting of these ideas. I have this amazing idea, but why should I tell you guys about it? Let me just look for someone else who has a lot of money so that they can pump it into this idea and just have it. Because if I give you this idea, you'll go and stall with it, and I won't maybe see it. I won't see the fruition of it. Have you encountered such?
Well, in our space, I think we usually try and incubate as many ideas as possible, and of course within the resources that we have. Yeah, we've seen a lot of also young people come up with ideas, and they're a bit apprehensive about sharing these ideas because of course the concerns around patenting and the trademarks and so on. So I think there is a need to sort of come up with structures around that protect them, they protect the intellectual property, and also you see, the thing is, what we provide, for example, as stakeholders in the capital markets or in the financial markets or in the ICT sector, right, is that we provide an opportunity for them to actually test these ideas in an actual market, in an actual environment, so to actually simulate these ideas. So in so doing, then we do actually partner with them or work together. Yeah, so we are open to such kind of innovations and such kind of collaborations.
Right.
Yeah.
Ladies, gentlemen, allow me to take a short break. As we talk about the Mount Kenya University Innovation Week, today being the second day, in about 20-something minutes, the symposium for the School of Pharmacy begins. This whole innovation week continues till Friday. So if you really feel like you want to tap into the whole innovation, head over to Mount Kenya University in Thika. When we come back, we continue this conversation, and you can always be part of it. Number 2047 is our SMS number. Send them Mbali.
Hey there, friends! Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends,
Ladies and gentlemen, karibu sana. This is Morning Cafe. I'm usually standing in Ringita. This morning we talk about matters innovation and research. We have that a lot in high learning institutions from students as well as the lecturers. But the whole turnaround of this research and innovation, do we really get to see it out here in the market? That is what we're discussing here with an esteemed panel who have the wealth of knowledge on the same. Before the break, we were touching base on students who really have these ideas, but they may not really want to front them due to the whole lack. The students would probably feel, if I give out this idea, will I get the money that it holds? Dr. help us understand this as an academician and as a researcher yourself. As a student, I mean, you'd really understand these students, right?
Maybe I operate in a different realm because if you have an idea and you don't push it out, it just remains an idea and you go with it to the grave. There's always the fear that paralyzes many innovators, many researchers, that their ideas will be stolen by someone else, and they don't even get to test that idea. So the question then becomes, how do you know that it will work until you test it? And how will you get into the market unless you take the risk of your idea being known? Because the bank, my good brother, will not invest in me if they don't understand what is the potential, how is this solving a problem, and what is the potential market for that. And then the consumer, the person I'm innovating for, will not take it up until they know this innovation speaks to my problem. So I think we should not fear. We have enough mechanisms in place to protect your idea. So there's the copywriting and there's patenting, which are legal processes. And there are lawyers who can assist individuals who don't know how to go about it, or the universities and other institutions of higher learning and innovation centers. They usually have an IP office where they'll guide the innovator on protecting their innovation or their idea.
Right.
So that should lessen the that my idea will be stolen.
One would wonder, let's say because on Thursday afternoon, we're going to be having these innovations and exhibitions and students showcasing this is what I've been working on. And they walk in and curating this project now later on after that. So one would wonder, this project that I've had, am I going to get 100% of the patent if I have been a student from Mount Kenya University, for example? Or what shares does Mount Kenya University or any other institution for that matter get as the innovator, as a researcher? What percentage do I get? Help us understand this process thereafter.
Yeah, okay, if you have the idea and you want to file a patent, it's a process which we may not discuss now.
Okay.
But it's a negotiation, you know. You have to agree what's the role of the innovator. It's your idea, you are doing all that, but you may not have the money, to patent and to pay for the patent for long enough until it becomes something that will go to the public domain. So then if another institution or another person is supporting you to protect your innovation, then they also are investing in you, and therefore it's an agreement that you have if that innovation gets to the market, then what is the market share? What is the share of the innovator? What is the share of the producer? Because you may innovate and you not produce it. You don't have capacity to scale it up.
Right.
So what is the share of the person scaling it up? And if it's from a university, what will be the royalty that the university will earn from that particular patent?
Okay.
So it is a whole process that involves legal agreements that you negotiate. So if the innovator is getting 30 or 40%, then there's the producer who will, the manufacturer who is, producing that gadget en masse, who may also want the 40%, and the university gets a royalty of 20%.
Okay.
So in that order, yeah.
And speak of royalties, so ideally, when someone walks into your office, let's say, for example, next week, after this whole innovation week has ended, and they tell you that I have innovated this cup, that if you just touch it, it becomes warm, or however you'll tell it. I want us to talk about now the pitching bit of it, because I've had conversations with students from the STEM, science, technology, maths, and they tell you for the pitching purposes, they may not be taught, they may not be aware so much about how to pitch the idea. They have an amazing idea, but then how do they pitch it? So if someone walks into your office, what do you want to hear about this project or idea they have?
Okay, for a financial institution, I think what a financial institution will want to hear is, one, the business impact of the idea that they've brought up. How well will it serve the market that the idea is for? What is the viability of this idea, and then the financial impact of the idea, such that even if, for instance, the bank is going to finance that product, number one is that, it must be, the financial flows that will come subsequent to the financing must be sufficient, one, to pay the person that has the idea, and also to refund the bank the process of the financing that the bank has given. Of course, what everybody in business is interested in is cash flows and cash flows. So what that means is that the idea must be sufficient and able to generate enough cash flows to be able to pay back, everyone that has been involved in the process. Like the professor said, the financier, the innovator, the producer, and sufficient enough, to also have something ready, for the person that's even innovated in the first instance to be able to make something off the idea. Okay.
All right. And still for that bit of pitching, which also relates to how education is, the education systems, as someone who studied in Nigeria, what kind of lessons can Kenya borrow from countries like Nigeria when it comes to how our education system is to prepare learners for such innovation and research?
Okay, I think for us in Africa, we still have a lot that we need to learn, in the sense that even for those of us in engineering, for those of us in the sciences, we also need to, yes, some will be, in the lab, working, but also if our universities and our schools can add, the business effects of everything that we are doing to the educational system, that will help the students a lot. So because for all that we are doing, ultimately, everything has to come out of the lab into the society. And then how do you introduce this into the society? So what does universities and our schools can do in Nigeria, in Kenya, essentially is also to be able to teach us the ultimate effect of what we are doing on the larger society, being able to show the world that, okay, this is the ultimate effect of whatever it is that we are putting in place.
Right, brilliant. Vincent, when I was in high school, we used to have this days and weeks that you'd go for innovation kind of weeks. I wasn't part of that really. Dr. How do you call them?
Science Congress.
Yes, the Science Congress kind of weeks. I wasn't part of that. I wasn't as innovative back then. But a lot of students would participate in that in the high school sector, high school years. But after that, in university, the numbers reduce. As someone who has, even from Innova, also working with academia, even talking to young learners, both in university as well as high school, why do you think that is the case?
I think it's really tied to the fact that a lot of these ideas that they come up with, they don't get to fully test these ideas in an actual market, in an actual environment. Mm-hmm. So you have a brilliant idea, or you're probably very concerned about the patenting, which is a very valid concern.
Yeah.
And you don't really get to test this idea because of things such as those, or you find that there's really in our markets it's been difficult to also find partners who would be willing to actually partner with students. So one of the things that we do a lot is partner with universities, like we are partnering with MKU, in terms of being able to provide internships, be able to partner with the students to be able to test some of the ideas that are that relate to the financial and capital markets, which is the space that we are in, and be able to sort of like reduce that anomaly. Yeah, because I think one of the things that we've seen, is that a lot of these innovations, if actually tested and are seen to be viable, can actually be scaled up by now, the likes of banks and other financiers and investors who would want to sort of fund that. But I think the biggest one of the biggest challenges is the fact that to convince someone that this is actually a viable idea, mm-hmm. I need to actually be able to generate some sort of cash flow, some sort of add some sort of value that is, that you can be able to quantify.
Right.
If I can chime into that, we at the university or in academia, we really want to partner with industry in developing some of these products. So the challenge has been, yes, the student and the academia are idealistic in nature, and you come up with an idea, you come up with an innovation, but when I bring it to the incubation, then there's a big disconnect. So it's like, who will consume this, or how is it going to solve a real problem? So that connection between the real world, if I may call it, with academia is very, very important. And that's why, as a university, we go out to seek partnerships with the people who are in industry. My brother here from Innova will tell me this is where the direction of the market. So I may be looking to innovate or encouraging students to look for wearables, for innovate a wearable device to check the blood pressure, when in actual sense, the world is gone past that. So the people in industry, in practice, will come and say, okay, this is a good idea, but can you modify it this way? So we believe that by academia partnering with industry, they come up with a product that the market needs. And then the investors or the financiers can now put their money where they see, one, it is solving a social need, and number two, it can be scaled and therefore sustainable. So nobody wants to invest where there's no market. Yeah, you have to invest. So you may have a very good idea, but where is the market? Yeah.
All right. And still on what he was talking about, for the STEM students, even in high school, how the numbers decrease getting into now higher learning institutions, the colleges, as well as the universities. I'm taking a look at for the Presidential Innovation Awards for 2024 as well as 2025. It's really big on scouting, recognizing, as well as commercializing of the innovations. And that bit on scouting, even for Mount Kenya University, does that happen? You'd scout for students already in high school, and you see we can nurture this student even as they come in, instead of now starting afresh. This student has just joined in first year, then you start gauging, okay, by your third year, they're already exiting. How does that work, Dr.?
Yeah, I think we have not, and universities have not gone out to scout for students who have ideas at that young age. The reason is I would guess, our admission system. When a student is in high school, you really don't know where they'll end up because they have to go to COOPs. COOPs will place them somewhere else. But that would be a good idea where intentionally, and it's not just universities, also we have the tech hubs that can go out to look for these young ideas and nurture them to mature, to maturity. So there's a disconnect, as I mentioned earlier on, between in the growth of the child or the whole education system, so that we tend to think things of high school should remain in high school and not progress on. And then the people in the innovation world, the incubators, don't go out to look at where's the talent, and nurture this young talent to become producers of tomorrow. Right. So it is a good idea, but it needs a lot of good thinking, so that if, as a university, as Mount Kenya University, if we want to invest in this high school student, we must be sure that they are also willing to come and take a course in the university, so that there's continuity of that. So a lot of students take courses not because they chose them, but because they have been selected to take that course. And that is a problem in itself, because the student is not very sure what is their growth path. And the university is not sure that if we nurture these students, they will end up with us. Not just Mount Kenya University, the University of Nairobi and other universities. They want to be sure, okay, we nurture you from high school, will you end up with us? Okay. And the same thing with the industry, the person in over here, they want to see, if I nurture you even from university, will you end up with me? Okay? So those are the areas that need to be tied.
Right. Yes. And speak of matters of collaboration, briefly, Ayodele. Yes. The kind of collaboration that should be seen continentally as well as even internationally, should we be seeing Kenya be sharing its research with Nigeria, for example, on this even research and innovation? Should we be seeing more of that?
Yeah, the world is a global village right now, and there is no end to innovation. For instance, somebody can come up with an idea that may not necessarily be something that would just stay within Kenya alone. And if you see that the idea you've come up with is something that can be used in other parts of the globe, why not? Do you understand? Because there's nothing that limits your idea to your immediate environment, your immediate geography. Just like you said, somebody says, oh, this cup, once you touch it, warms water. That can be used all over the world. So you don't have to limit yourself to Kenya. Of course, researchers, incubation hubs, can then help you to broaden where you are able to at least ensure that your idea is able to get to. I mean, with respect to the broadcasting of the idea, they can also help with that. Yeah.
Right. Gentlemen, allow me to take your last thoughts. I'll start with you on, first of all, what to expect on this Research and Innovation Week happening this whole week in MKU, as well as even for future from the banking sector.
Okay. First of all, my expectations will be that, one, attention being paid to research and innovation should raise awareness amongst our students, first of all, for them to be able to know that what they put their efforts to can actually yield to something bigger than they may think right now. It's important that our students, their minds are open to the possibilities that is out there for them. That's on the one hand. Secondly, the kind of expectations I will have is that, like I just shared, our schools should go beyond the academics and also, ensure that our students are trained as all-rounders. Do you understand? They'll be able to understand, the business effects, the financial effects, the social effects of everything that they are doing, and such that, as they go out, as they innovate, as they go more into research, they're able to know, okay, what is the ultimate impact of what I'm doing into the business world, into the community at large.
Right. Dr. Terry, briefly, your last thoughts, again, what to expect for someone who might be planning to go to MKU this week?
Yeah, we hope that by the end of this week, we'll have a discussion in various fields where the specialists of those fields discuss the current issues that can inform and drive the agenda, not just of the university's research and innovation, but also contribute to our national and regional agenda. We are also thinking that through these innovation events, we'll come up with a solution that can be scaled to solve health issues, because our innovation, the hackathon, is AI for health. And we are working to see that we can have 1-2 innovations or ideas that can be utilized, not just in Kenya, but maybe globally, after the incubation period and after meeting all the, the tests that are required.
Okay.
So we hope this will bring change, a positive change.
Right.
In general, yes.
Thank you, Ntelema.
Yeah, I think one thing I would like to really encourage, young people, innovators, is, take your idea out there. Your idea is as good as, if no one knows about your idea, then, it's as good as you not having that idea, really. So if you're not able to put it out there, then you're not able to really, drive that, or turn it into an actual, product. Mm-hmm. And one thing I'd also like to reiterate is that, Africa is very unique. Every industry has its own challenges, and one thing I'd like to encourage various industries is to come out there and support such kind of initiatives. So we have seen things like the sandbox from the Capital Markets Authority, which yielded quite a number of innovative products. We have seen the likes of the InsurTech or Bima Lab,
right,
and so on and so forth from the insurance industry,
okay,
and so on. So we feel that Africa has the solutions to its own problems. Mm-hmm. We're able to actually scale to actually come up with these solutions.
Okay.
Across our continent.
Right.
And we're glad to take to support. I think about 40% of our staff, of our team, were actually interns. Mm. So we believe in that whole idea of nurturing talent from a young from a young age.
Right. Thank you very much, Vincent Ntalami. He's the Director of Partner and Business Development at Innova Limited, as well as Dr. Francis Makoha, Director Research and Innovation at Mount Kenya University, and Ayodele Papola. He's the Chief Operations Officer at Guaranteed Trust Bank right here in Kenya. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have learned a lot. I know back at home, wherever you've been watching us, you've learned a thing or two. Research and innovation for sustainable production and livelihoods is the theme for Mount Kenya University Research and Innovation Week. Started yesterday, runs all the way to tomorrow. You could always plug in on this and be part of this on this conversation we are having. We're taking a short break. When we come back, we get into matters first aid, courtesy of Red Cross. Don't go too far. I'm used to standing